It really is dependent on the individual in terms of what they need, and for us as co-workers, employees, supervisory staff, we had to be considerate of that. It's no different really of what we should be considerate of for our other employees. Everybody has some need in terms of their employment. My name is Charlotte Wroton, and I'm Chief Program Officer for Intellectual Disability Services, a division of DBHIDS, or the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services. I've been working for the city for about 14 years. Throughout the 14 years I've been in a variety of positions. I started as a line staff, as an analyst, and then a supervisor, and moved up to this position. My day-to-day can be varied. Most of the time I spend a lot of time in Teams meetings or Zooms meetings. My job responsibilities support the division, right? To ensure that our direction is aligned with our expectations of the Department of Behavioral Health as well as the state. So Intellectual Disability Services is an administrative entity that supports our operating agreement with the state to connect individuals with ID to registration, to services, to whatever it is they need to ensure that they have an everyday life. I would say that an intellectual disability is a condition that impacts a person's functioning. It impacts individuals differently. It may impact their learning, their problem solving, how they reason, and just their everyday life skills. There's a range of disabilities. Some people could have some severe disabilities. Others, you might not even know that they have a disability. Some people could have some difficulty in communication. Some people could have some difficulty in understanding communication, like it could be verbal communication, or it could be communication in terms of what they're hearing. It could be they may not understand the everyday expectations in life that others might understand better. It pretty much could impact people's skills in any area, you know, of their life. So it could be some people might not really understand the importance of dressing appropriately or appropriate behavior with others. So it varies. And then you could have some people who may not be impacted by any of those things. The city just has some ability for people to come in to positions that are not the traditional ways for your average city worker. You know, so there's an opportunity to come in positions that it might be entry-level positions and without the same kind of requirements for interviewing, you know, applications and that kind of thing. So there is a entry pathway that would support anyone coming into the city who's looking at that specific kind of job. What IDS does is we connect individuals to services. Pennsylvania is an employment first state, so at IDS we look to connect people to employment when they're getting connected to our services, to ask, are you interested in working? So that they could get a service that would support them working. And that service could be, you know, through developing a job, going out looking for jobs for people, connecting them to a job that meets their interests, meets their skills, even if it doesn't meet their skills, because many of us, we got skills as we worked, you know, so you don't expect that people come in with the skills they need for every job, but looks at least people's interests, or tries to get them into the workforce in an area that they would be interested in, and then supports them through the process, maybe through job coaching. The idea is for people to become employed, but not to always maybe have that support if they don't need it. Big barrier for anybody who has a disability is that people may be connected to, say, Social Security and have other benefits that they might fear losing if they're employed. We try to help people to understand that, you know, there's ways that you might be able to save money without losing your Social Security, that there's different accounts money could be put into. They could open a PA-ABLE account, or that as their salary increases, they're not really losing anything because you're gaining something else. There's a lot of options then, and one of the services that is available to people who are connected to the system is benefits counseling, and that service helps individuals and or families, navigate those concerns. And other barriers are the same barriers we all might have, right? We concerned about our travel, we need to get to work, we need to know how we're going to do it. Just anything that anybody else might be apprehensive about with a new job or doing something new that's different. Really individual, and it helps to get to know the person a little bit in the same way you would with the person who has or doesn't have a disability. Lots of times we hire people, or we've had people hired who might have a disability, but their coworkers might not know it. It's not something that's kind of widely shared unless it's something that the person might share, or, we're not speaking to it in that way that a person has a disability or a need for something specific, unless it is around their work and we're trying to connect them to the support that they need. For professional development, we offer here at IDS for an employee who has specific needs the same professional development as anybody else. We generally have opportunities to go to conferences and connect to development. For individuals who are connected to our system, to IDS, you're connected initially to registration, then to a support coordination organization who then would connect you to services. If you are in a waiver, there are waiver services, and one of the services is job coaching. Support an individual with their employment needs. It might the staff person who's connected to the agency providing the service might help travel train a person to show them how to get to work, come back and forth and do that for whatever length of time that's necessary. They might help a person with all of their tasks as they initially come in. But what we expect, and what those agencies expect also, is that the employers are not looking at that person as their staff person, because you're going to be the person who's going to be working in that job, and at some point the job coach won't be there. So they support the employee with getting the task done with whatever is needed until that person is independent, or as independent as they could be. Most people want to do a good job. I think that most people, they get a job and they're excited about it, and they want to do that job. So sometimes there are things that may come into play that impact people's ability to do their jobs. And so I think patience and to know that people come to do the job that's at hand. Sometimes we need to help people differently to be able to help them do the job that's at hand. Our website is being rebranded, but you can find out more about IDS and how to get registered on the website, and how to register someone who maybe is interested, or connect them to the services. The DBHIDS website, dbhids.org, and the city website, where there's employment opportunities, but also we're always looking to support individuals or kids as they're transitioning into high school, so that they can get acclimated to the service system and or planning to work and to connect to their adult life. In terms of our service system, not just employment, and employment is a big piece of our service system because we want people to work. And so we can connect people to services, but we have the availability of funding to support additional individuals. So, we hope anybody who sees it would be interested in coming and registering to be connected to services, and to get connected to waivers that are available that allow funding to support individuals' needs. If you're interested in employment with the City of Philadelphia, check out the website work.phila.gov.